and then later on we're playing the Samurai Sigil, so lots to look forward to today. So, let's dive into the review itself. So, speaking about the book itself, it is well produced, well bound, beautiful artwork, lots of stunning pieces inside, and basically everything that we've come to expect of a Wizards product. It's by no means like a cheap kind of knockoff product. It's very good, and it's something that will last you for a long time, and it would look good on your mantelpiece, that kind of thing. That's what I like about the books, and pretty much everything that Wizards came out with is of the same high quality, so you can expect the same thing from the book itself. The layout of the book is also an important thing to have a think about and to assess when it comes to these things. It's much easier to read than any of the previous adventure modules, such as Out of the Abyss, which had a very kind of confused layout, I think, and also fairly poorly kind of edited as well. There are lots of bits where you're kind of like, what is going on here in Out of the Abyss? Whereas Storm King's Thunder seems to be much more well thought out and well prepared and planned, which I very much like, and I think is a big bonus to the book itself. Curse of Strahd had a similar thing going for it, where it was kind of like an open sandbox world that they made rather than so much of a story, but Storm King's Thunder is very easy to follow the storyline which they've written. It even has a flowchart. Oh my god, guys, let's think about the flowchart for a second. It's absolutely game-changing. For some reason, Wizards have never really considered to have one of these flowcharts in the 5e books in the same way that Storm King's Thunder has, and it's just a game changer. Like chapter 1 this happens, chapter 2 this happens, and then they branch out, and it's great stuff. So I'm a very big fan of that. In fact, I can probably bring it up for you guys here. Right now on the screen, yeah. This is the flowchart of the different chapters, which I am very pleased with, very helpful just for quick references, and in fact as well the book itself has lots of chapter references which are very useful when you're attempting to like in the moment of the game remember what's happening. So it's the same as, it saves you taking a bunch of notes basically, so it's little reminders like this happens then, this happens then. Yeah, Hypnotic, I'm actually going to do a Q&A in the last hour of the show, so if you don't mind waiting until then, because I want to do the review here and keep it kind of keep it flowing, and we'll do the Q&A at the end, but do ask a question, I will get to it. In fact, I'll save it so make sure I don't miss it later on. What's up, Bobby? So, I'll save that down below here. So yeah, in fact, if you guys do have questions along the way, I can just put them in a document and get them at the end. So, so yeah, perhaps one of my complaints about Storm King's Thunder, and the fact that it's quite a rigid layout, due to the kind of more linear nature of how the book's set out, perhaps it's a little bit more railroaded, but that's by no means a huge problem to me. In fact, when I like to run adventure games and adventure modules, I actually prefer to have something of a more rigid structure to it. But the story itself, in fact, encourages a bunch of different roads and paths. As you can see on the the chart here, let me find it again. Yeah, on this chart here, for each chapter you usually have a bunch of different options that you can go down to get to the same destination. So it's not like there's only like one way to do things. They often have different split paths, and as usual with these adventure modules, you can just change and manipulate everything that you want about the story. It encourages all these different avenues to be explored. In fact, in one chapter, there's that we were playing recently, there's different locations for your party to choose to go to. Do you save one town? Do you go to another town? So I actually quite like that. It's very malleable. And I've decided to make a ton of cuts and edits to my own campaign. I encourage you guys to do the same thing to your own, because that kind of puts your own little flair to it. And these stories are always meant to be like pretty basic vanilla kind of D&D, and then you kind of spice it up and sex it up yourself. So Storm King's Thunder encourages that, and I think it does a good job of it actually. In fact, some of the maps as well, I wanted to talk about the maps in the book, as well as just the artwork itself. Some really great pieces in here. I mean, just like the cover art, I think looks amazing here. That's some really fucking cool looking artwork there. But this, and this is just in terms of the book itself. We'll get to the Roll20 stuff as well, but here's like a picture of one of the maps, just the first town that you come to, spoilers. Nightstone. and it just looks really, really nice. It's all gridded out, and it tells you where everything is, and it's even got a side view of it as well down the bottom there. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of the maps in Storm King's Thunder. There's actually loads of them as well, which is great. And you can print those off if you've got the hardbook cover, or if you're using the Roll20 app, then you can just you know, have them straight away. But we'll get to the Roll20 review itself in a few minutes here as well. What's up, Adrissy? How's it going, my man? So yeah, very shiny indeed, Redundant. So huge fan of the art, huge fan of the maps, and you know, to give you guys some basis, I'm not like by any means like a Wizards fanboy. I love the Wizards products that are good, and I slate the ones which I think are bad. For instance, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, not a fan of whatsoever. I actually really dislike that book. And you know, Out of the Abyss, I was a fan of. Storm King's Thunder, you can go view my other reviews. I try and be as kind of honest as you know, as I actually think about it. So if I think something's great, then I'll tell you guys. If I think it's shit, I'll also tell you. So on that point, in fact, another really good thing about the Storm King's Thunder, it's got a lot of new interesting encounters. I feel like Storm King's Thunder was kind of a bit of an experiment for Wizards, because they've got a lot of very different ideas going on within the book itself. So for instance, one very unique encounter, again, spoilers, is there's an encounter where some dwarves are flying on a dragon to a floating tower, and then they quaff potions of gaseous form to fly up into the tower to destroy an orb, which I think is just great stuff. You know, like very like kind of wacky, very kind of imaginative, and I think it's a good, you know, a good experiment to kind of do stuff like that, rather than like you fight the kobolds, or you know, you have a fight with a giant. You know, all these different kind of optional encounters which they bring up for you to possibly use in your campaigns if you want to. So big fan of some of those encounters. As usual, they've got the usual kind of encounters, you know, like the straight up fights with stuff, which is okay. But I much prefer some of the crazy ones that they've been going with today. And also one other kind of storytelling technique that they've used is some of the players can play NPCs at certain points in the story, which you might think is like, oh, that's crazy. But in terms of just having like a one scene where the players are in a different part of the world, suddenly just giving like you give them a sheet for that episode, I think it's great, and it gets to show a story and tell a story from a different perspective, which I feel like Wizards don't tend to do within their own campaigns. So big fan of it. Complaints? Let's think. I don't like how there's not too much player content. What's up, Bardic? How's it going, man? So as usual, we've come to expect that in the adventure modules themselves, there's going to be very little content for the players themselves. It's all mostly for Dungeon Masters, which is fine, okay? I've come to, you know, accept that this is probably going to be the way of things. And, you know, with that being said, the new content from Unearthed Arcana and the mention of a future sourcebook for players with the new revised Ranger, very promising news for player stuff. So if they're gonna give us player stuff, I'll stop complaining about not getting player stuff, you know. It's been one of my complaints throughout all of the books that Wizards have released throughout 5th edition. The rune magic stuff, people have been asking about this. It really isn't a huge part of the game, and I feel like it was... I mean, like, it's pertinent to Storm King's Thunder story, but are these rules that you could use in the rest of your games? Maybe you could, but they're basically still, you know, the same rules which were in Unearthed Arcana, on the same basis at least, very, very similar. So I don't feel like that was a huge, like, innovation for Storm King's Thunder, and really, like, if you were gonna get it because you think, oh great, new rune magic rules, you know, I wouldn't really bother with that. Just take the Unearthed Arcana stuff and add a few new ones in. They basically just add in new rune magic items, which is cool, I guess. You know, rune magic items is cool, but you know, it's not the be all and end all of the book for me. Also, you know, to counter argument my own complaint, Volo's Guide to Monsters is coming out in November, which means there's going to be a lot of new player content coming out. What's up, Karaktu? So, you know, I can't complain that much with a lot of player stuff coming out. So hopefully we're seeing a new era of a lot of player content coming out rather than just for the Dungeon Masters. Hey, and thank you to Kitty for the host. How's it going, Kitty? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. If you guys are just joining in, we're doing a Storm King's Thunder review. This is the new book out from Dungeons & Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, 5th edition, and it's a campaign that we're currently playing for on Wednesday nights. Hey, and thank you for the 2 months, Kitty. For some reason my Twitch alert doesn't work on this page, but thanks so much, Kitty. You are the most gentlemanly of scholars. I salute you. How's it going? Awkward raid, look out, boys. Good to see you. So yeah, I think that's most of my points for Storm King's Thunder itself. Hey, you look sober this time. What's up, Pony? Yeah, man. I look like death, I think, at this point, because I am in pain. What's up, guys? Worth it for the content. So yeah, I'm gonna do my overall like summary here. So let's see. So my overall summary for Storm King's Thunder, is it worth buying? Is the question. You know, would it be worth if you bought it on Amazon for like 30 quid or 35 or 40, $50, however much you pay for it, I don't know, American fucking money, then yes, if you're looking to play a very good and fairly, you know, long campaign in D&D, and you're looking for new content, then yes, I would say it's worth your money. However, if you are a very kind of, you know, imaginative DM, that you bring up your own homebrew campaigns all the time, then I probably would say, you know, you could probably do Storm King's Thunder without the book itself, if that makes sense. You could run a cool Giants campaign, is what I'm saying, without the book itself. That being said, it's great artwork, great maps, well laid out, nice flowchart, very flexible, malleable story, and well worth it for a DM who's looking to run something with a fairly rigid structure which you can mess around with yourself. So yeah, I bought it. I'd advise you guys should buy it as well. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're looking to burn some dollars on a new book, then Storm King's Thunder is one of my favorites from Storm King's Thunder from Wizards thus far. And I bought Curse of Strahd, I bought Out of the Abyss, I've got all the books, and this is probably my favorite one. So if that means anything to you, then maybe you should go out and buy it. However, I love the feel of Curse of Strahd more. I just love the setting of Ravenloft. I think it's always going to be just such a powerful and evocative setting. So Storm King's Thunder itself, you know, it's the Sword Coast. You know, Sword Coast is cool. But, you know, it's not like, you know, fucking Ravenloft, man. So, you know. And thank you to Ads316 for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. So, yeah, that is my basic summary of Storm King's Thunder. Hopefully it answers a few of your questions. Does anyone have questions about Storm King's Thunder itself? I'd love to answer some questions. Yeah, 420 follow goal. About the book itself. If you have any questions on it, then feel free to ask. So I want to actually move on, once you get some questions in, to the next bit of the review, which is the Roll20 app pack itself. Oh, there we go, and we've got the Twitch alerts working again. And thank you to Livewire for following. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. Giant vampires, that would work. If you had Storm King's Thunder mixed with Curse of Strahd, wow, that would be a campaign and a half. If you could find a way to link those two stories together, then fuck yeah, dude. I would love to see that campaign rise. But yeah, let's look at the Roll20 module pack. So this is the same price as Storm King's Thunder, so bear this in mind. If you are looking to play online, then I would highly recommend you buy the Roll20 pack, rather than the hard book copy itself. The reason for this being is it makes your life a million times easier if you're doing the online stuff on Roll20, for instance, rather than just having a hardbook copy, because it does basically all this work for you, and I'll go and show you that in a sec. We've got some questions in, however. So, how political does the story run? Is it RP heavy or balanced between accounts for combat? It can be as political as you want. For the most part, it's more of a high fantasy campaign, so it doesn't delve into like deep dark politics and the like as much as, you know, let's say Curse of Strahd could get. I had a lot of politics going on in Curse of Strahd, but like I say, if you wanted to make it very political, then you certainly could do. There is a political intrigue chapter to do with the Giant's Court, which I like. But yeah. Let's see. Am I still a gentleman? Yes, as Zeno says, the most gentlemanly of scholars. You don't have to be a man to be gentlemanly though. So bear that in mind. How big is Storm King's Donger? Pretty fucking huge. But how much freedom do the players and DM get is pretty rigid progression. Like I say, it is fairly rigid, but I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. I'll show you guys the flowchart one more time as how the campaign overall runs. So like I say, getting towards the end, you've got multiple different options, and even at the beginning, you've got multiple different options. It's fairly rigid. You know, but I don't necessarily see it as negative. I actually found the campaigns in which they are really loose and no like rigid story more difficult as a dungeon master to figure out what's going on when. So I actually like this. So I just joined. I don't know what we covered, but I want to know about Storm King's Thunder. Does the book add new rules, never start to 5e, or just a setting? I did mention that Solicitor, but yeah, the new rules for the Rune magic aren't anything particularly new. They're still like basically unearthed arcana stuff. Basically setting, basically campaign, some cool characters, great maps, great artwork, but it doesn't add a lot of player content, no. What's my favorite D&D monster? I like Mind Flayers. Mind Flayers are sick. Okay, so we'll move on to the Roll20 app review. So, and I actually need to show the entirety of the screen. So actually one of the first things that you immediately see when you join the Roll20 pack is you've got all of these different maps and pages, and let's just go through every last one of them and let's just see how many there are, because there is so much content which they have stuffed into one Roll20 game. It is quite impressive. All of these maps, and when you look at these maps you might think, okay, you know, they're just like pictures of maps, but no. We've got Nightstone here, which is the one that we showed earlier. It's fuzzy because the map is so huge and there's so much going on it. It is actually rather incredible how they've managed to pull this off. There we go, it's finally loaded. So here is the map of Nightstone. This is where my players played through it. It's got all of the tokens that you need already in place and on it. It's got all of like the key off to the side as well that you might need if you're looking for all that stuff. And you know, side view as well if you're interested in what it looks like from the side. And like I say, it's got all the tokens ready to go. And this is just one map out of like 20 or 30. Here's the token sheet as well. When I took a screenshot of this for a tweet, I couldn't fit all of the tokens on the map. This is where you're going to find every single token which is there. They're still loading in. And that you get these. You get to use these in Roll20 in this game whilst you have them. And there are just millions of them, guys. There's so many of them, and they're all ordered nicely. And they're all, like, you know, fit a theme together. All very, like, united, which I very much like. There's Zephyros down there. So, yeah, we've got loads of tokens to use in this. Loads of tokens. Loads of maps. Let's go through. Let's have a look at the Dripping Caves. Hilariously named as well. How many tokens are there? I'm guessing there's probably like, there must be over 100. I don't actually know the number. But this is the Dripping Caves. This is where they've mapped out all of the different, you know, like villages that are in here. You know, spoilers, obviously. But yeah, it is quite expansive. And like I say, they're just all of these. Let's go to one down the road. So it's not like they've put all of the content in the beginning and then they just, at the end, they haven't filled them out, because every single one is mapped. These are still loading in. There we go. And we've got cool boats here. This is a later map encounter. All these different huts going on. I mean, like I say, guys, this is just expansive and so much work. When I actually pulled this up for the first time, I was like, what the actual? Because there is just so much stuff packed into this Roll20, and it saved me. I mean, this would take you hundreds of hours. Like, this must have taken him hundreds of hours. There's no way it didn't. Like, and it's all, like, dynamically lit as well, you know? Like, it's all... Oh, dude. Like, every time I look at this, I'm just like, oh. Oh. So freaking cool. But wait, there's more. As I said before. And I'm not going to go through all of these. I just wanted to show you guys a few. But every one of them has been laid out like this. Let's go just back to the start so I can show you guys. I wanted to show you guys the amount of handouts that they have in this as well, because it's not just the maps that they've done either. And there is There's a lot of content. It's already there, exactly. How plays campaign now. There's a content creator's dream, it really is. I can't explain how much time this would actually save you to do this. And like I say, as usual, like, I'm by no means endorsed by Roll20. I love what they're doing over there, but I mean, I'm just a guy, you know, like, looking at the campaign at the moment, I'm like, fuck, this is cool. So this is the handout section on the right hand side in your journal tab that you'll get when you get this, and immediately you don't need to do anything, you just load it up, and here we go. So we've got the introduction. Alright, you might want to read the introduction and you think, oh, okay, how do I run the adventure? Now, here is something quite amazing, and this is something really small, and it might not seem like a lot to you, but it is incredible, because each of these links, every single link here is hyperlinked. So if I want to see what is running the adventure, I immediately have running the adventure up, just straight up there. And then I'm like, okay, what is Golden Fields? I don't know where that place is. Click. I have another tab of Golden Fields and a map available to me at the snap of a finger, rather than having to sift through all these different pages and stuff, or having to like search within the function for Golden Fields. You just click and like, okay, what's the Emerald Enclave? Okay, there are a group of people that do this in this place. Where's that place? Okay, you know, it's just like crazy to me. Like, and they are not usually hyperlinked. It is just like, what? Like crazy stuff for me, because you can have all these different things open, you know, like, oh, okay, like up in here, and you're looking to read the introduction and you want to learn about Icewind Dale, you want to save it away for later, you can put it down there, you know. It's really good stuff and very intuitive, and let's just go through the amount of these that there are as well, because there is just a huge amount of content here. So we've got, you know, all of this stuff here. I'm going to just keep scrolling for a minute. Okay, let me open up all of the chapters as well, just so you guys can see what's going on here. This is every single chapter that you have, every single handout that you'll need, all of the different chapters, all of the different magic items and what they do. Every single one, there's a lot of them. All of the NPCs, the monsters, all of their tokens, the dragons, the elementals, the animated objects that are in the game, the elves, the drow, the golems that you've got, or the griffins, the imps, so we've been missing some there, some hobgoblins here as well, the mephits, the merrows, the orcs, the oni, I mean, the list just goes on, the UNT, the miscellaneous creatures, there's a lot of those as well, if you're looking to get those in, and then you've got all the appendices as well, so if you're looking for NPCs, then you've got them. Let's click on an NPC, and let's see, so we've got information about her, where she is, what she does, her bonds, her ideals, her flaws, and also her quest, which is really important as well. I don't know if that's on the screen, let me bring that over here. So yeah, you've got Ziliang's quest, so it tells you what her quest is, how you can complete it, where you can get it, and that sort of thing, and every one of these is the same. So you've got Lithalas's quest, and every single NPC in this game has some kind of quest, which is really cool, and their own unique artwork token, which you can just drag in, and all the different giant lords, all of their tokens as well. Let's just click on a token to show you guys what it is. So this guy is some dude, I haven't met him yet in the campaign, tells me all about him though, and his character sheet as well, which is pretty cool. So you've got his character sheet all formatted out, and if I have Rule in the game and he is going to attack someone, I can just click multi-attack here, and then go to the chat box, and look, he makes 2 short sword attacks. I think we can even have him rolled like this, so short sword. And then he rolled a nat 1, there we go. And the target must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. All of it is done out, it's all GM rolled as well, so it's super nice, and it gives you all of the rules for them as well as challenge rating and everything that you need. So this just will save you a million hours of referencing in a book, which, you know, Roll20 is just perfect for. Let's see what else we've got. All the handouts as well. So if you want to know what animated armor is, you can hand it out, show it to the players, so on and so forth. You've got different... Oh, giant spider, that's fucking creepy. And there must be like just hundreds and hundreds of handouts here, and if you want to show them what the artwork looks like, you can do. All the artwork which is in the book. This is some of the artwork I was talking about, which I think looks really, really nice in the book. Very nice and stylized, and I'm a big fan of the Oinker Boinkers. These guys are great. So yeah, what can I say, guys? Incredible amount of content within the Roll20 pack. If you're playing it online and you don't necessarily like having books, or you don't really care about having books, then just go ahead and grab up the Storm King's Thunder app. Module pack for the same amount of money that you'd buy the book. It's just going to save you so much time if you're running it online. It's great, it's a lot of fun, and you'll have a great time exploring the module in a different way than you would normally be doing. going through a book and flipping through pages. I can't imagine the amount of work which must have gone into making this all a Roll20 pack. But you know, hats off to those guys who did it, and yeah, it makes just everything so easy for us as DMs. It really is like a DM's wet dream, like Redundant was saying. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Love Storm King's Thunder. The only obviously downside to the Roll20 pack is, yeah, it's not a physical book, which isn't a downside because it's a different product. So if you're like me, then I bought the hardback version and the Roll20 pack as well. So you know, you can do both. Why not? If you're playing it offline, do it anyways on tablets. That's true, yeah. Places to find a pirate story you haven't really played much before. Online problem. That's true, yeah. That's true. Not having players, maybe so, or whatever. But I mean, like, as a product for what it is, it's absolutely excellent, you know. So 10 out of 10, love it. The book itself, I mean, I don't have like a fucking number for you guys. Probably like, you know, more like an 8, maybe like a 7.5. I don't know. Numbers are very hard and subjective to nail down these things. But, you know, for the would I buy it? Yes. Would I buy it for a friend? Yeah, I would. I was looking to DM, you know, that kind of thing. It's a it's a so funny. It's an excellent product, and I would strongly recommend you guys check it out at the very least. You know, check it out in a bookstore or something like that. And if you're convinced that you want to buy it and you're convinced that you want to play it online, then the Roll20 pack is the place to do that, in my opinion. I don't think it's on Fantasy Grounds, so I think Roll20 is the only place you can actually do it. So so yeah, that is the quick review of the Storm King's Thunder there for you guys. In a few moments, I'm a friend. No supporter. So, would I buy Storm King's Thunder a third or fourth time? Yeah, to give it away, I would. In fact, I did. So, so yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, thanks 69 Darius for the PR on Twitter, my man. So yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I have bought it 3 times technically, I suppose. So yeah, I've been buying adult toys by Wars for years now. It hasn't led me wrong yet. That's the full endorsement right there. Fantasy Grounds has a pack as well. I have it. There we go. Confirmation. So my mistake. They do have it on there.